Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Steve, and I'm assuming that you saw video part 1. This is part 2 of me and my son going to Florida to pick up our newest truck, the Kenworth, which I've had back here in Massachusetts for a couple weeks, and it's been great. But I was going over some of the comments, and I didn't realize that I never explained to you guys that the truck that I purchased was that truck that I was talking about in part 1 video with the rebuilt title that I actually walked away from the 2 weeks earlier that I was in Florida, and I flew home and I looked at a whole bunch of different trucks and I just kept coming back to that truck. I don't know why. There was something about it. I just liked it. So when I got home, I just couldn't let it go, and I didn't know anything about rebuilt titles. So I ended up calling my insurance company. I ended up calling everyone I knew and saying, what's the deal with these rebuilt titles? And then I found out that it's not a salvage title. What it is maybe it had a salvage title at one point in time, but what a rebuilt title is basically a vehicle that has been rebuilt, but then it's gone through a rigorous state inspection. So in my door jamb on my Kenworth, I have a sticker from Florida State rebuilt certification with an ID number for the case number on it. And what that is when they rebuild it, they basically have to bring all of the receipts and take the truck for an inspection, and then the inspectors take all of the part numbers and they make sure that it's not like chop shop stolen parts and stuff. And from what I understand, it's a rigorous inspection. Now, a salvage title is before that. So you don't really want to go for a salvage title because you then have to go through that rigorous inspection. But my insurance agent told me, hey, if that truck has a certified rebuilt title and a certification with it, someone has already gone through the headache, and you can register it in all the states across the U.S. So, and I believe in New Jersey, they will actually issue you back a clean title. They won't give you a rebuilt one. It does hurt your resale value a little bit, I guess, but I don't ever plan on selling anything. I just wanted a really good truck for, a decent price. So I went back to Florida, and I just couldn't let it go. And I just told my wife, I'm going back to get that truck, because I looked at a bunch of trucks after back here and in New England and everything within those 2 weeks. Like, I never stopped searching for a truck, and I just said, the heck with it. I'm going back to get it. So anyways, I just wanted to clear that up for you. The truck that I bought is that original truck I walked away from. Alright, I hope you enjoy the video. This is part 2.
Alright guys, so what I gotta do is, I think this is a heat shield because the exhaust is here. In order to get the passenger seat put in the truck, I'm gonna drop this plate here. There is like a bolt floating around in here, so I'm gonna take that out of there, anything loose that may have got disconnected, we'll go from there. I'll let you know, I'll bring you back when I get the seat up there, because it is, as you can see, I gotta suck it in here between the fuel tank and the exhaust stack. So while we're doing that, Bryson's gonna take the heat gun and take the old original owner's name off the door. So do a good job.
Yeah, plastic scraper.
Nice. What did he call it? What Grandpa call it? A sword?
Oh no, there's a literal sword in the garage.
Oh, we'll have to try that out later.
Yeah, there's an actual.
You need a haircut.
Like a cutlass.
Yeah, I'll cut your bangs. All right, so I got that panel off. Heat shield is what I'm gonna call it, but I gotta try to get in here. I drop that, and I want to measure down here, because I do have one hole that's sticking up. This one here does go through, the rest are covered by the flooring that the guy put in. So what I want to do is, I think they just ground the heads off up top. So I want to measure and then go measure the base of the seat to make sure this is where I should be at. I know I'm in that area because here's the air for the air seat, but let's just take the tape measure here and get a guesstimate. So it's like 4.5. I'm gonna call it 4.5 by, I can't see that way. Probably call it 12. So, all right. Oh, now's not a good time to be fat in the middle. Oh.
Did I just lose my bag? I just lost my bag, man.
It's windy out, so he's chasing the he just jumped out.
Dude, I'm trying, man.
So, I mean, we should be somewhere over here. Well, this is like linoleum flooring, which is kind of good because it'd be easy to clean it. I might just keep it for now. And what I'm wondering is if I can poke a hole up through those holes in the bottom. But we should go measure the base, because that base to that seat, there's no way those bolts are the same, and that's the same brand. So we definitely should go measure. We might be making new holes, I guess. I figured the holes would go through the floor and then through like some sort of frame, like cross member. Like maybe that they put the cross members in line with where the seats are going to be bolt for like safety, because now the seat's like bolted down really good. And then the seat belt gets bolted to it, but I guess not. I also got to clean that back panel. It's all dirty and gross. I want to change this all over to black. I was looking online. Once I put the window in there, there's all kinds of online, like the day cab company, all that. So it's gonna take some time, but we'll get there. So let's go measure the seat base. All right. Probably should just wheel this out. That way we don't scratch that beauty or take a chance of anything happening to that. Okay, Steve, 2 hands. All right, so, oh my God, Florida, whew, hot. So that's perfect. That has adjustable slots in it. That other one doesn't, so I'm not gonna try to mess with that one right now. Originally, because that one is a low rider base, I was gonna try to put this one in the driver's seat and put the low rider one over there and move it, but that's too much work to do here at my in-laws in the middle of the road. So let's just put this thing in so he doesn't have to sit on a bucket on the way home, and we'll make changes later. One door down. Bryson's doing a pretty good job. He's not burning the paint.
Nope.
We just have to, like I was explaining to him, that's the first time he's ever done it. Later we'll get some.
No, I did this on my dirt bike.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but don't do like your dirt bike. Don't get goo gone on my headlights.
No, glue on the headlight. I had to get a headlight kit. That was stupid.
He had to repolish the
headlight.
The headlight.
And I did it on the last dirt bike too, the old Honda CR125. I did that with a heat gun. No.
Maybe we'll just put some soap on here. Try some Dawn.
I mean,
Dawn does
like,
everything.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, Dawn is the best. It's not like as bad as I thought it'd be.
I actually like it way better without that red.
Red, we're not red fans.
We're not fans of red. Every truck I've ever bought.
It's always started red. The 79, the 86, except for that blue Pete you had. Was that ever red?
No.
No.
The 1 ton was.
This thing.
The dumpster truck was.
Yep. What about that? What about that Volvo? Was that red?
Nope, I bought that black with a new paint job on it. Yeah, I've had like 13 trucks. I think this is truck number
I
what?
thought you were up to 16.
This might be. I
think
don't know.
this makes 16, right? Because you were at 15 before,
Yeah.
not 13.
I don't know who we got over here. HOA stuff. I could never live in a neighborhood like this. For the most part, everybody's nice, but man, they got some rules here, huh?
Everyone's pretty cool, but yeah, like you can't paint your house a certain color. You can't have certain types of landscaping. You can't have certain types of hardscape.
You know what?
You can't have certain didn't they have to like change their flagpole?
I don't know, but you know
You
what?
can't
Yeah.
have certain types of plants. You can't have too big. Your trees can't be too big.
The worst thing for me is every morning I've been walking the dog, like every other morning, picking up the massive turds. And at home we live in the woods, and the dog just goes out in the woods and takes a dump.
Yeah, he has his own little spot.
I don't like. I mean, I do it because it's respectful. You know, this place is nice, and you don't want to have crap everywhere.
It's just a pain.
But they have a Saint Bernard, guys. So. All right, so I think he put down like some laminate flooring glue underneath this floor. I just decided when I get home, this floor is all coming out. I'm gonna redo the whole floor because I was just ripping it out of here, and it's all like mushy and gross. It looks like he put hush mat down too to quiet it down, and then he put like the, I don't know what you call that stuff. This stuff, like liquid nail maybe, or laminate flooring stuff. I mean, I could see he got it all over there. So I was thinking of keeping this flooring, but I'll be honest with you, I think it's gonna get ripped out, and I'm probably just gonna put like a factory rubber, because we do construction, so I think the factory rubber would be better. But I gotta clean around there, and I don't know, that looks like it looks brass or something. I'm gonna get some, it looks like a cap nut, so I'm gonna clean around there a bit. And then what I'm gonna do, oh, you know what that is? That is the airline for the seat.
Bum, bum.
Okay, so that is not the bolt. So I gotta go over and measure over. Oh, thank God I didn't start pounding on that with a hammer, because I thought that was a broken bolt. I was gonna pound on it, and then I was like, I don't know why you would leave just one broken bolt. I mean, just cut it off. Why would you? But yeah, that is a cap nut. Brass cap nut. I can see the threads down in there. Maybe you guys can't on the camera. Well, that's cool, because we can just tap into that. That's how he did it. He just capped it. It's kind of ghetto. I mean, like I said before, really, really nice guy. I actually invited him back up to Massachusetts to see some snow if he ever wants to. Really great guy. Probably wouldn't say he qualifies for Trick My Truck. Well, that pounded right out.
You good?
Yeah, as soon as I took a little bit of the like the top out, the riv nut, because it's a riv nut. As soon as I, just a little bit, and then pounded the center, it went down there somewhere. So, nah, I'm just gonna do like you said, drill down from the top on the little ones. Slightly. This one's a small hole for some reason. I can see through it, the center. I'm centered, but I wonder if some of that riv nut is stuck in this one. You know what I mean?
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah, feet when I pulled it through, I bet it was stuck on there. That's that one, nice. And then that one's pretty good. That one. Yeah, I don't know why that one. Like I said, that must have had some of that riv nut in it.
Yeah, just a little piece left.
Yeah. Just gonna take this razor blade and cut this extra, you know, I don't know what you call it, this extra crap. So I gotta take that off, so when I go to the hardware store or auto parts store, whatever they have around here, I don't know, get the, what do you call it? Come on. The airline stuff, so I can hook up the air seat. If I can't, I'll leave that alone and Bryson can sit low until we get home, which the low on this seat is still higher than the high on the lowrider seat, so it's not a big deal. Everybody always tries to do custom flooring and stuff, and a lot of people are good at it. Some people not so much. I mean, this guy was the nicest guy I've ever met, and he's awesome, but I don't like this floor. He loved it. He was like, "Oh, I did this nice floor. It's great." And I'm like, "Okay." Another beautiful morning. Last night I got that seat in kind of late, and then I had to go move that truck over to the dirt lot. We're gonna go over there this morning and we're gonna grease it. I bought a grease gun at the hardware store. I wanted to film getting that seat in for you, but there just wasn't a lot of room in there, and then I had to keep running back and forth to the hardware store, and I was looking for air fittings and to hook up the air seat. But then I discovered, I'll show you when we get there, the tower control box. Because he didn't have a passenger seat, he had the tower control box for the dump body and the lift axle. It's a little too more towards the passenger seat, so and it's a little too far forward, so it does slightly rub the seat when you have air in it and the seat's going up and down. So I told Bryson, I said, for the ride home back to Massachusetts, I'd like you to just sit in it with no air. I mean, he's not driving, so that way it doesn't rub that tower. And then when we get home, what I'll do is I will unbolt that tower. He just has like self-tapping screws in it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it over, center it between the seats, and move it back towards the back wall more. That way when you shift, the shifter doesn't hit it. But yesterday what I did was, you can't see it, I'll try to show you, I'll have to hold the camera back through there, but I had to get air into the seat so I could unscissor it. That way I could, she wants to go in the house. That way I can put the bolts in the back, so I couldn't get the bolts in the back. And there's adjusting slots on it, but like I was out there, me and my father-in-law, and he was like telling me, he goes, you don't really want to, because I was just going to bring the seat closer towards the passenger side door, and like my father-in-law said, he's like, you don't really want to do that, because if you're planning on changing the door panel back to the original Kenworth padding, which is thicker than that skinny board, then your armrest of your seat will be rubbing the door. So I put the seat basically where it should be, where it belongs. Okay, so it's already like 80 something degrees out here. It's so hot, but I bought this grease gun. It is the pistol grip squeeze one. I bought the hose, so I gotta put this grease gun together. And I also bought this red and tacky grease spray, because I'm gonna spray it on the clutch linkage. Usually I keep all of my trucks that I own, I keep the clutch linkage and all of that lubed up and everything so it doesn't wear out. There is grease fittings on some of the clutch linkage, but the other part is just those like tie rod ends that don't have grease fittings. So I just use like spray grease or like lithium spray grease. So I got 2 tubes of grease. I think Maybe one will do it, but just in case, I got 2. That's all the hardware store had, but that's okay because that stuff's good anyways. And then I got a can of brake cleaner because I did notice when I was underneath the truck, somebody over-greased the throwout bearing and it has covered the clutch brake in grease, and when you go to pull it into gear, it does grind a tiny bit. Not grind, but you know, it's not stopping, it's not engaging the clutch brake. Well, it's engaging it, but it's covered in grease, so it's still slipping, and it's not stopping the input shaft into the transmission. So when you go to pull it in gear, you have to, which I don't like, because you're basically grinding your gears and putting metal shavings and stuff into your tranny. A lot of people, for some reason, it doesn't bother them. It bothers me. So let me put this grease gun together, and then we'll go over there, grease it, and then when we come back, I gotta put that dust shield. That's actually a heat shield. Goes over the exhaust pipe on the passenger side. I had to take it down to do the seat, but I'm gonna put it back up now. And yeah.
All right, so like you guys saw, I got all the lettering and the DOT stuff off the door. When this plate was put on, it was put on over the lettering, so there's still a little bit under there, so we're gonna have to do that. Same with the other side, it's swapped, so some of the M is still under there. But that's not really that big a deal. I gotta clean up this window next, but we did get the passenger seat in. It's very comfortable, thankfully. It's a very nice seat. Here it is, matches the other one. The only issue currently with it is the guy that had the truck previously, when he put in the control tower, he put it like not exactly centered, kind of farther away from him, because I don't think he was ever planning on having a passenger seat. So it rubs a little against that, so we got the air all knocked out of it so it's not going up and down rubbing against this. And then my dad was saying he also thinks it should be back more, which makes sense. So we're probably going to move it over a bit and then back more, so it's not touching either of the seats and it's not like right there. But so we got that sorted out, so that's pretty good. Did also pick up some little tiny zip ties for now to you know, do some cable management with these going to the shifter, because the shifter was extended a bit. As you can see, it's a bit taller than what we normally have. So we're just gonna do some cable management with the small zip ties. And we also got the Armor All cleaner to keep it spick and span in here. Lots of legroom though. This seat's actually moved forward quite a bit. And the legroom is still, it doesn't look like a lot on camera, but I mean, it's nice. I'm a little over 5'10", and I can comfortably have my legs out. So that's quite comfortable, gonna be good for the ride home, and his seat being the same one is just as comfortable.
All right, guys, I just went down to Napa and got some rubber gloves because, as you can see, where am I gonna wash my hands? I don't want to get in my in-laws' car and drive back to the house or whatever. I mean, I guess I could walk, but it's a long walk covered in grease. I did get an extra shirt, long sleeves and stuff, and clothes. So anyways, new grease gun. Let's see if it works. I hate pistol grip grease guns. I hate all grease guns, but nothing's happening. Ugh. Let's see here. Sometimes you gotta do this a couple times. There we go. Yep. So this is all brand new. These grease fittings are new. Come on. Lost it again. Lost the prime again. There's no primer on this thing. You gotta crack that, but maybe, but I don't have any tools with me. They're back at the house. There we go. Ah. That's it. I see it pop out of there. Don't take much, guys, you know what I mean? 1, 2. Nice. Alright. I do not have a jack. I know you're supposed to jack up the axle for the kingpins, but I do not have a jack here to lift this truck, so I'm just gonna do it without doing it. I know it's not the correct way to do it, but something's better than nothing, right? Alright. There we go. Rule of thumb is when you hear it snap, crackle, and pop like Rice Krispies, stop. That's enough. You know, you don't want to go too much. While we're here, we should just do the tie rod in. This boot right here is not super full, so I'll go until I see the boot move. Oh, come out of the back. The boot must be ripped, so we'll have to eventually replace that boot. Now, yeah, these are brand new. You can see the shiny washers and stuff, because he had just done the kingpins. So there's a lot of new parts on this truck, guys, but there's a lot of stuff that unfortunately is not like finished. It's either not finished or it's just little things that like I'm not too happy about, like the way that they were done. But other than that, you know, I think other than a few things that, you know, like the interior, he must have had a shop do everything else, because I haven't found any mechanical things that look bad. Okay, yep. I see the grease coming out of there. While I'm under here, I'm just gonna roll over into the other side. Well, actually, let me get this front spring shackle first on the spring, because I like to do one side and then move over to the other side. The other side's got more steering stuff, like the steering box and everything. So I just discovered that whoever did this motor, because this is not the original motor, knew what they were doing, because all of my research on this motor before I purchased this truck, I was watching all kinds of videos. The oil pan gasket, apparently people that do these motors, like that build these motors, know to get the gray gasket, not the black factory stock one. And that is a gray gasket. And as you can see, this thing's been sitting in since yesterday. There's not a drop on the ground except for that grease that I spilt right there. But there's not a drop on the ground anywhere, guys. I have not touched this truck at all today. So I do have a little drop right there, but that's not oil from the engine or drivetrain. That is the PTO pump, has a little bit of a drip from it. But the guy gave me a new PTO pump. It's actually in the back of the car. I gotta somehow get it in the dump body for the ride home. And then the guy said he did all new slack adjusters, and you can see because they're all like brand new. But what I'm gonna do is, because these clevis pins, I think they're called clevis pins. I get my pins all mixed up. They're clevis pins, I think. And the end is a cotter, because I'm from New England. A lot of times those things, what happens is the pins freeze up. So I like to put like spray grease or PB Blaster or stuff on them, WD-40, and then you can put a pair of vice grips on here and spin them around if you have to. So, all right, I'm gonna continue greasing this truck, but I just got word back from my buddy James. Thank you to him. Big thanks, everybody. Clap for him, because he went to the registry for me back at home. Because, you know, obviously Bryson and I are here, and my wife just had surgery, so she couldn't get any more time off from work. So I asked him, and he just sat in the registry. So poor guy. No one wants to go to the registry. No one. All right, guys. One of the reasons why it's important to always grease your truck is because, look, like right there, if Bryson can hold the camera.
I am.
This is the jack shaft. It's got a tiny bit of play in the slip yoke. And there's the caps on this back. There's a little play in here. Actually, there's a lot of play. I'm not happy about it, but it's gonna have to get us home. And this cap is loose. These two bolts are a little loose. It's hard to see on the camera, I think. I don't know if I push on it. But this whole thing is no bueno. But hopefully, with no load on it, no real strain on the truck, we can just tighten up these caps when I get back to the house. I pumped that full of grease, and we will just have to deal with it for now till I get home, and I'll pull this jack shaft out. It's between the two rear ends, the two, we call it twin screw, so front rear end diff, you know, rear end. But what we'll do is when we get home, we'll take this off and bring it to the place that I go to, and they will balance it after they redo that yoke there. The spline's probably no good. Sometimes they cut the weld here and they weld on a new rod also. And then what they'll do is they'll take that weight off, rebalance it, and then put a new weight on where the machine tells them to put the weight so it's perfectly balanced. So just gonna pump it full of grease, tighten up the caps, and just, you know, hope for the best until we get home, because I'm sure there's trucks out there that run until they fall apart. You know, guys don't come under their trucks that much, and, you know, owner-operators usually do, but, you know, this is why you have to grease your truck and physically put your hands on the parts and touch and wiggle everything, because that's when you find out what you have to do to prevent the thing from breaking. So that's why it's called preventative maintenance. It's you take care of it before it breaks. So I'm under the transmission. This is in the dust shield. This, for those of you that don't know, ring, that is the clutch brake. I don't know, you can't see it on camera, I can see it, but somebody, I'm not gonna grease the throw out bearing, because somebody has over greased it. And when you over grease it and it turns all hot, there's a lot of heat in this area, it turns the grease to liquid, and then it drips all over this clutch brake, which is not really that badly out of adjustment. My mechanic always says if you can put two fingers like a fork between it, it's pretty good. But look at what happens when I put two fingers between it. I just put this new pair of gloves on. Look at it. It's all slimy and covered with grease. So what I'm gonna do is, probably not gonna show you, but I'm just gonna clean that with brake cleaner, the pad on the clutch brake, because I don't think it's gonzo. I think somebody just put too much grease. You should only, like, every few months put like 2 pumps into that thing, and that's it. Somebody's been pumping way too much. See, like, the fitting, it's just all turned goopy from the heat. So you can see how wet it is, and you can almost see the grease on that clutch brake pad. So I'm gonna try to spray it with the brake cleaner. I don't know if it'll do any good, to be honest with you. I might have to change it when we get home, but that's not a big deal. It's a pain in the ass because I don't have a pillow, but other than that, it's not the end of the world. And I'd like to, that's a one piece. I'll probably like cut it off with the sharpened air chisel, you know, or I don't like to use a torch because so much grease in there you'll have a fire. The last one I did with a really sharp air chisel, and I just kept sharpening it, and I put a cut in the top, bumped the motor over, rotated it, and I put another cut in the bottom, and then I split it apart. So as far as that goes, I'm not too worried about it. but I'm just gonna try to clean it for now. All right, guys, so I just unbolted the pedal because it was back here. He didn't have it far enough for me, and it wasn't parallel with this pedal, the brake pedal. It was like back here more, and it was pointing inward at the top towards that one, and it was about this far back, so that means it was back here and pointed that way. So I put it up more, and it's a lot more comfortable. It is so hot. I can't wait to go home. Florida's nice in the winter, boys, but if you're from the north, don't come south in the summer. Alright, and then that seat's all done. That one's in. I'm not going to be able to move the control tower. It's too much work to do here in the middle of the street. And we did put some zip ties, because these little zip ties, I'm going to get the cutters and cut off the extra, because the hoses were all like flopping around. I'm probably gonna, that's actually comfortable. I'm probably gonna keep it. This has got to go though when we get home, but I'm not gonna do that till we get home. I have a brand new steering wheel at home with the same kind of like wood grain as that. Yeah, I mean, I took some WD-40 to the door hinge. I also, last night when I was laying in bed playing on my phone, found like all new interior panels and stuff. So we got no more squeaky. And now I'm gonna take the WD and go to the other side. I got a lot of work to do. It's a fixer-upper. But you know, when you're a guy like me and you don't like payments, this is, you know, you make repairs, or you make payments, or make repairs. This is the phrase. Make payments or make repairs. That's what the old guys say. That's what my friend Randall always says when I start complaining. I'm gonna spray that with a little bit of that ball joint. Just stuff, you know what I mean? Just things. I don't know what's up with that. That wire down there. I'm probably gonna give that a haircut up to the bumper so it's not hanging down until we get home. Where does that go? Oh, he's got lights in there. Yeah, typical trucker. Lights in chrome, and you know, Bondo on the hood. It's like being back in high school. Well, the cars had fancy, nice rims on hoopties. Oh, it's a lot of work. I'm sweating. I'll pick back up with you guys tomorrow, because I don't think I'm gonna do any more today. I'm pretty tired. Yeah. So, but I mean, just imagine, like, I get this thing done, you know, armor all the dash, put some chrome handles on there, change all that button tuck over to black button tuck. Well, maybe we'll get a stainless steel where the CB goes, all that across, and then give it a paint job, match our other truck. You know what I mean? You know, I'm gonna paint the frame, get the rims polished. I mean, you know, it's a work in progress. We've already made a ton of progress just being here, just by fixing the pedal, you know, putting the seat in it. You know, and I know I overpaid for this, but that's what the market's bearing right now. You know, guys are overpaying for everything. I mean, everything you're overpaying for. So, I knew I was gonna overpay. In my mind, this truck's not worth $65,000. No way. But you either do or you don't. And I got him down quite a bit. He wanted like 70. Originally he wanted like 80. Then he knocked it down to like 72. Then I got him down to like 65. I was trying to do for 50, but I mean, you know, I mean, that's tire kicking at that point. You know what I mean? That's like get thrown off the property at that point. You know what I mean? A new one of these right now, I was looking, is like $290,000 to $300,000. You got to get on a, like, I heard stories from friends that they were on like their 2-year waiting list to have one if you order it to get built. And then if you get one off the lot that's already there, basically what you're stuck with is like crappy specs. The other thing too, guys, is a lot of the trucks, I have a friend that has 7 triaxles up in the Boston area, and he told me do not get an emissions truck. And I said, well, all the other trucks are like, everybody wants way too much money. And he said he has one truck in particular. He ran some numbers, and he was talking about like a wiring harness. Something went bad with the not EGR, I don't know, the diff system. And then you get a new wiring harness. And he said it was $6,000 for the wiring harness, then $200 an hour shop rate on top of the $6,000 for the harness to install it. And he said they had it for like a month. 1 month and 1 week is what he said. And he says, listen, you got to be okay. You have to suck it up and be okay with overpaying for something that might not be what you think it's worth now, but what it's going to save you down the road from not having breakdowns. Because he says out of all 7 of the trucks I have running, my older ones never stop, and they pay the bills for the new ones, and they pay the payments for the new ones when the new ones are broke, because that payment doesn't stop. You're talking $3,500 to $4,000 a month for a payment on a truck that if it ain't rolling, it ain't making you money. So that's kind of why I have digested it, and I'm okay with overpaying for an older truck. Do I think it's worth it? No. In my mind, this truck was worth like 35, maybe, 35, 40. So I think I paid like 20 grand too much. But I didn't. It's like a hard pill to swallow, but everybody told me don't get a new one. Shop around, find a good used one, and make it what you want it to be. I don't know, whatever. That's just my take on it. So, am I okay with what I paid for this? I'm okay with it, but do I like it? No. But does anybody ever like what they pay for stuff? No, we all want it for free, so I don't care what it is. But it's just, this is the times we're living in. Overpaying for stuff that won't give you a hard time, or just overpaying for everything in general.
Come on, dummy. You gotta get in the car, dummy. Me, dummy, you gotta get in the car, dummy. Come on, dummy. Come on, dummy, you gotta get in the car, dummy.
This kid. We're gonna go over the truck. I want to try to. Last night I tried to crack open the rear ends and just like top off the fluid, and then yesterday I got way too much sun. So now that it's cloudy out, I got heat stroke yesterday, like real bad. Like literally, like I was like puking. So Bryson's driving. Now that it's cloudy out, we're gonna go over to where the truck is, and I'm gonna try to crack open the rear ends. I don't think that they're leaking or that they need fluid, because I know they don't leak, because it's the truck is parked on like white, I'd say white sand. And every morning we go over there, the first thing I do is I like look around for under the truck, and the only leak I can find is a little drip by the PTO pump. But all of the trucks that I have ever driven, even the one I have at home, all have a little weep, little drip. I don't know if you can tell on camera how red I am. I literally was puking last night from heat stroke. So today is Saturday. I didn't do a lot during the day today because it was 90 degrees.
Felt like a 102 is what it said.
Yeah. And it's too much. You can't touch anything. You can't, like my mother-in-law came out to talk to me, and she had put her hand down on the tire of the truck for a second and was like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, I can't even touch the thing to work on it. So it's cooler out now. We just went and got something to eat. We're trying to get everything that we can done for the trip back. And I paid for overnight. My wife back in Massachusetts, she paid for overnight, and they took our money. It was like $80 or something like that. So today's Saturday, and yeah, Thursday my wife paid for overnight, and they're telling us that I'm not going to get them till Monday. So I figured I might as well keep doing stuff to the truck or keep checking stuff while we're here. So I bought this crescent wrench. I don't know if this is gonna be enough to check this, but oh, okay, there we go, it's working. This is 28 bucks at Ace Hardware, but we gotta make sure we get or got fluid in here. It should start to drip out a little bit. Huh. Well now. Nothing major. That looks alright, but it is low. It's not that low though, guys. It's like right here, so that's good. I'm just gonna top it off just because. So I'm just gonna put this 90 weight in it, 80, 90 weight, just top it off. Probably not necessary, but oh, and also, so those plugs have magnets on them, and if you pull like a slime off of it, off the magnet that's gray, that's like your normal wear and tear. But I've pulled those plugs one time, and I've gotten like little pepper flakes of metal, you know, like crushed red pepper, you know, you shake on your pizza or pasta, whatever. I've gotten a rear end one time in one of my trucks that had those, and then shortly after the rear end crapped out. So as long as you have like that slimy gray sludge, then you get normal wear and tear. So that's a good sign. Alright. Now, I don't think I can. Oh yeah, we're right at the bottom of the threads. That's where it's supposed to be. Alright. I'm gonna close this one up. I'm gonna do the front one next. This has all new brake valves, I can see up there. New brake valve there, new brake valve there. I mean, the only thing that this truck is lacking is a proper paint job. We shall take care of that one of these days. So, this one here was a little more full than the rear one, so it's actually dripping out of here, so I had to stop putting some in it. That's all you really have to do for these. Once they start dripping out of the hole, this one's just being, I got a little bit of crap on the plug that just won't come off. Nothing major, just some tiny little, it's probably from the power divider. When someone threw the gear in, they probably threw the gear in, you know, while they were rolling more than like 5 miles an hour. So that's why they tell you don't engage the power divider when you're going fast, because you'll just grind that little tooth. Tomorrow, I think I don't have any more. I just used two of those things. So tonight, what I'll do is I'll just start to pull the plug on the transmission. It's good. And then that magnet's pretty strong. And then what I'll do is I'll just check the transmission tonight and see where it's at. So, all right, so I'm gonna go throw this trash out down at this dumpster, clean up. I ended up checking the transmission, and the transmission was right there. I pulled the plug. Nothing was dripping out of it, so I held my camera up there, and I could see the fluid right at the bottom of the threads. It must be like just enough. So then, just to be on the safe side, I took my pinky and I reached over like this, and I just tapped to see how far. It's right there at the thread. So the camera doesn't lie, but you know, better safe than sorry. And it was really clean. The rear end's always, I don't know why, rear end fluid always gets kind of like dirty. We're probably gonna dump all that when we get home, put new stuff in it. But the transmission was like spotless, the gear oil in there. So yeah, I think we're good to go. So oil's good, rear ends are good, transmission's full. I think we're pretty much good to go. Okay guys, so it's Sunday. I got the hood open. I got screwed by UPS. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but once again this weekend they did not deliver my plates. So hopefully tomorrow we can hit the road and get out of here. But while we do that, I'm really happy that there's no leaks. Once again, there's no leaks. It did rain a little bit, so it's some of the drops I can decipher between. I think that's where that spot was where we were parked the last time. That's from the PTO. I'm keeping track of where I've been parking, but no leaks, so we're good. I do like this white dirt is perfect for checking leaks. So the camera's gonna die in a minute, but what I want to do is I want to loosen up this clamp and everything and get this away from the spring shackle. So what I'm going to try to do is take these socket, loosen up that clamp, twist this just to get that away. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'll see if it works, and then I will update you as soon as I get it done. Like I said, just going to loosen up this one here and twist this. It is hitting right there. I don't know why he left it that way, but the guy did. I'm probably guessing, I don't know if this is backwards or if this is the wrong tube, but until I get it home and I can go to my guy and get the right tube, I think it should be a 90 over. I don't think that this 45 elbow is correct, or you know, I'm just not sure. But if I could just get this a little away from there for the ride home. If not, it's just gonna have to stay. We're not loaded, so the front end's not gonna go down enough. But I'll check back in a minute because the camera says 3%. I'm kind of limited on SD card also for the trip, so I'm kind of do like you know, just updates. Okay, quick 1 minute update. I get that off there. I didn't want to get that on my pants. So I loosened up this one, it wouldn't go. Then I loosened up this one and I twisted the pipe. It only dripped out a little bit. I do have paper towels, but it just dripped out a little bit. But I twisted it, moved it over there, so that won't hit right there anymore. And that's it. All fluids have been checked. All fluids are good to go. Next time you see this, we'll be rolling out of here. Today is Sunday. Hopefully we can leave tomorrow. So that's everything I wanted to do to it before we get going. It is a pretty clean motor. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and I haven't talked to him in a while. And he said that this 12.7 Detroit, he's had 2 of them, and he said they were extremely reliable engines. So I'm pretty happy about this purchase so far.